If you're looking for a way to improve your IELTS score and to help you in your preparation and your practice, taking a few minutes to listen to this video will be very helpful and very valuable, because I just want to share with you a few quick tips on how you can take steps to go to the next level when it comes to your band score on the IELTS exam. So let's get started. And the first thing I want to mention to you is to make sure that you use reliable practice tests. There are so many things available on the internet and on YouTube when it comes to the IELTS exam, that it is very possible that you'll find information and practice tests and preparation materials that are not reliable. They don't give you the real information that you need. So the first and most reliable piece of a resource that I want to mention to you that can help you so much, and you can't go wrong with this material, is Cambridge IELTS. These books are created by Cambridge, and Cambridge is the organization which has created the IELTS exam. So everything you find in these books are actual IELTS material, questions that have been used in the IELTS exam previously, and they are official IELTS exam questions that will really help you. And this is a great resource for your preparation. And if you're going to invest in anything, probably the most important thing that you could invest in, especially if you're going to begin your preparation at home and on your own, is to buy 2 or 3 of these Cambridge IELTS books. There are 17 books available. I would recommend that you stick with books beyond books 1 to 5. In books 1 to 4 and maybe 5, the IELTS exam was a little different when it first started, but anything from book 5 and beyond will apply directly to anything that you'll face on test day when you book your exam. So I would really recommend that this is probably the best place to start when it comes to finding good resources and good material for your preparation. The other 2 most reliable sources are British Council and IDP. British Council and IDP are the 2 organizations that give the IELTS exam. So this is important to know too for when you're booking your test. Make sure that when you book your test, you're booking it with either British Council or IDP. And the thing about British Council and IDP when it comes to the exams, when you're booking your test, is that they're both identical. They're identical. The exams that you take with British Council are identical to IDP, but these are the only 2 official places to book your test. And the good thing about British Council and IDP is they also provide practice tests. And again, these are official practice tests. They come from official IELTS exams. So if you stick with Cambridge and British Council and IDP as your source of material for your IELTS preparation, you can't go wrong. These are the best sources and most reliable practice tests that you can find. I do want to share one resource that I can provide for you, and that's my IELTS Success Summit YouTube channel. You'll find videos for every section, every question type, even to help you with your motivation and mindset when it comes to your preparation for the IELTS exam. And all the material that I use in my videos either comes from Cambridge, British Council, or IDP. I'm certified to train IELTS with British Council, so I know the importance of sticking to the official tests, and all the material you find on my YouTube channel is reliable and associated with Cambridge, British Council, and IDP. So if you haven't, I would encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and it will really help you in your preparation for the IELTS exam. So this could be the most important thing. Just make sure you use reliable practice tests. Once you've discovered the source of these reliable practice tests, I would encourage you to do a complete test, every section. Do a listening, reading, writing, and speaking test if you can. Find someone, it doesn't have to be an official teacher. Find a partner, find a friend who will just take you through a speaking test. You can find all of these on those sites that I've just mentioned. But do a complete test. Once you've done the complete test, you will know your score in listening and reading. You'll have a very good and better idea of your writing ability and your speaking ability. And one thing about speaking, if you can't find someone to go through the test with you, just take your phone and record yourself on video. You'll be amazed at how good the feedback that you can give yourself is. Because if you're at that high intermediate to advanced level of English, when you listen and watch yourself speak on video or when you read your writing essays, you will be able to give yourself good feedback. You will know whether it has a high enough quality or not. And once you've started working through the practice materials and getting more and more information about the IELTS exam, your ability to give yourself self-feedback will improve. And one thing that I would really encourage you to do before you enlist a tutor or a teacher or pay someone to give you expert advice, I would work as much as you can and understand as much as you can until you have improved with the IELTS exam, but you've reached the point where you feel you can't improve any further. And that's the time to ask an expert to just take you that one step further and help you with the weaknesses that you've identified. Once you do a complete test, and I recommend only doing it once, you'll discover your weaknesses. You'll discover the areas that you need to work on and you need to focus on. Because if you focus on these weak areas, this is how you can improve the fastest, because by identifying a weak area and improving that area, you will see more growth than if you try to just improve one that you're already strong at, because you won't see as big a difference. So do a complete test once. I don't recommend doing another complete test for a few weeks or even a couple of months until after you've spent some time in really focused practice and self improvement. And then once you've done the complete test and you've identified your weaknesses and you begin to practice on the areas that need improvement, as you complete different practice sections and question types, take a look at the errors that you seem to be making. And basically, there's going to be two types of errors. There's going to be IELTS errors, and there's going to be English language errors. If you find that you're making a lot of English language errors, it could mean that your English language is not at a high enough level. This is where it's time to pause, take a break from preparing for IELTS, and simply focus on doing everything you can to improve your English. You do need to have a high intermediate or advanced level of English to get a 6.5 or a 7 band score overall in IELTS. There's no replacing the fact that the IELTS exam is a test of your English language proficiency. So if you're discovering that the mistakes that you're making is because you don't understand vocabulary or you're having difficulty with language issues, pause the IELTS preparation and focus on improving your English. If you find that most of the mistakes you're making are because you don't understand the strategy or the question type, then I would encourage you to focus on finding more information and instruction about those question types and work on improving your strategy and techniques for the IELTS exam. And again, I encourage you to take a look at my YouTube channel and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because you can find detailed lessons for every question type in reading and listening, detailed lessons for writing good essays in task 1 or task 2, and very good tips for improving in the speaking section of the IELTS exam. So don't hesitate to do that. But take a look at the type of errors you're making and focus on repairing and improving in those areas. And when you're doing this, manage your time. So how do you manage your time when it comes to preparation? And I think this is the most important thing when it comes to practicing different question types and strategies for IELTS. And that's to do this. First of all, as you're practicing strategies and techniques for different questions, don't worry about time at all. Just increase your proficiency and your ability to deal with those types of questions. Make sure you understand everything about the different question types and focus on improving your proficiency, your ability to deal with the questions without worrying about time. So for example, if you're working on the reading section, you're allowed 1 hour on test day to do 40 questions. But in your initial stages of practice, don't try to complete 40 questions in 1 hour. Just try to complete 40 questions, no matter how long it takes, until you can get about 30 or more questions correct out of 40. 30 questions out of 40 is what you need to get 6.5 or 7 in the reading section. The same is true for the listening section. Once you have the ability to get at least 30 or more out of 40 in listening and reading, then begin to try and lower the amount of time it takes. The same is true with writing. Once you know you have 40 minutes to write a 250-word essay, don't try to do it in 40 minutes. Learn how to write a good essay, even if it takes you 90 minutes. Once you've become proficient and you know that you can write a good essay, you can get 30 or more questions right in a section, that you can handle the speaking section effectively and speak well. Once you can do everything to get the score you need, then begin decreasing the time. So once you've discovered that you can get 30 out of 40, but it takes you an hour and a half, see if you can get it down to an hour and 20 minutes, and then an hour and 10 minutes, and then an hour. So step 1, increase your proficiency, and step 2, decrease your time. And this is the best way to build up and get ready for the IELTS exam. And once you can get the score you need in the time that's allotted, the same as it will be on test day, then you're about ready to book your test and be successful on test day. Once you've done this process for a while, then you do another complete test. And once you've done another complete test, you just repeat the process that I've talked about in this video. You go back and you identify your weaknesses, you analyze your errors, and you work on improving that, improving your ability and decreasing your time. But don't do this second complete test until after you've spent a few weeks preparing and improving to the best of your ability. And when you reach that level where you can't seem to get any higher score, that's the time to enlist the help of an expert and look for a teacher. I want to encourage you as you prepare for the IELTS exam to reach out if you have any questions as you watch videos on the YouTube channel. Don't hesitate to ask your questions in the comments. I've made it my mission to help people like you get the score you need on the IELTS exam, and I'll do everything I can to help you along the way. So all the best on your journey.